Tropical Medicine, Kolkata, welcomes our speaker and all participants to the Regional Distance Learning Seminar Series. Dr. Dolan Champa Modak is our speaker today. She will elaborate her discussion on Introduction to Dolutegravir based regimen and Phase 1 Transitions Plan. Dr. Dolan Champa Modak served as an Assistant Professor of Tropical Medicine, School of Tropical Medicine, Kolkata. She is a National Master Trainer of NACO and also a faculty of Postgraduate Diploma in HIV Medicine course from IGNOU for training in HIV or AIDS and ART. She is invited as guest speaker on HIV, AIDS, infectious and tropical disease in various academic meetings, symposiums and scientific conferences. She has several publications in national and international journals. She is working as Deputy Program Director, Center of Excellence in HIV Care, School of Tropical Medicine, Kolkata. I request Dr. Modak to kindly start the sessions.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, in this session, we will discuss the introduction of dolutegravir combination therapy in the National Program of India. First of all, we will discuss why dolutegravir, why not raltegravir, the other integrase strand inhibitor is included in our national program. Then we want to understand the pharmacology of the dolutegravir and benefit, why it is introduced in the national program, and dolutegravir based regimen in the first line ART, second line and third line ART next. And then we find the special situations and the dose modification if at all needed in combination therapy with dolutegravir in special situation like tuberculosis, women in reproductive age group. Now, whether we can use the dolutegravir as PEP, we will discuss this also. Then next last we will discuss about the phase 1 NACO's transition plan, which was working from 4th April 2020. So, all of us know that the classes of antiretroviral drugs, first of all, NRTI, that is nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor, they are zidovudine, lamivudine, stavudine, abacavir, didenosine. Jalticitabine is not used in India. Emtricitabine, in sometime in combination pill, it is used with tenofovir and efavirenz. And then the second group is NNRTI, that is non-nucleoside transcriptase, reverse transcriptase inhibitors. There are 6 drugs. In India, nevirapine and efavirenz was the initial drug. Now the delaverdine, rilpivirine, etravirine and the doravirine are the newer NNRTI. And then NRTI, but nucleosidase, not nucleosidase but nucleotidase inhibitor, that is tenofovir disoproxyl fumarate, and another is tenofovir alafenamide, TAF and TDF. These are 2 different things. They belongs to NRTI but nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitor. Another group of drug, it is integrase inhibitor. What we discussed today, the dolutegravir is integrase strand inhibitor. The whole world is INSTI, that is integrase strand transfer inhibitor, and they are raltegravir, which is already existed in our national program. Then the dolutegravir, the newer one, and the other drugs are elvitegravir, bictegravir and the cabotegravir. The another one is maraviroc, that is CCR5 entry inhibitor, which is not yet introduced into the program, but it is somewhere in the India, it is used by the private practitioner. And protease inhibitor, these are very well used and very potent drug. We can use this with NRTI combination in the beginning of the therapy as first line therapy, or as an alternative therapy, or in the second line regimen. India we use atazanavir and lopinavir, ritonavir, but there are other drugs. Darunavir, we can use darunavir as the third line option, or alternative second line in special situation, and the others are saquinavir, fosfenprenavir, amprenavir, nilfinavir, indinavir, and ritonavir is there. We use the ritonavir along with the other PI, that is lopinavir, ritonavir, or atazanavir or darunavir, as a boosting agent, so that we can achieve the therapeutic effect with lower dosage and with less side effect. Now the site of action, the target of viral antiretroviral drugs. Dolutegravir acts as an integrase strand inhibitor, which is located in the center nucleus, the incorporation of the viral DNA into the host DNA. The other drugs working the other places, which is already presented in the picture. Now why we prefer the dolutegravir based regimen into 2020? Dolutegravir has its own beauty. It causes the rapid viral suppression. It is seen in different studies, especially single study which is published in New England Journal of Medicine, shows that the average viral suppression occurs around with 4 weeks of dolutegravir initiation, which is 12 weeks when compared to efavirenz based regimen. Now dolutegravir also causes minimal discontinuation of therapy. In less than 2% of the patient experience discontinuation of dolutegravir based regimen, either due to adverse effect, and whereas efavirenz causes discontinuation of therapy in more than 10% of cases. And the rash, which is notorious for efavirenz, which is seen in around 10% of the cases, which is very low in dolutegravir based regimen, it is around 2% of cases. The neuropsychiatric event, that is the dizziness, lightheadedness, vivid dreams, nightmare, which are more common with efavirenz, is less common with dolutegravir based regimen. But insomnia is one it is more common in dolutegravir based regimen. It is seen around 13% of patients experiencing insomnia compared to 7% who were taking efavirenz based regimen. The dolutegravir has shown no treatment emergent resistance across the trial. It is, I am talking about the single trial which is published in NEJ in 2013. And it has a minimal drug-drug interaction. Only few interactions are there when rifampicin based ATD is used. That is, rifampicin is an enzyme inducer, though the dolutegravir uses the different metabolic pathway, but the dose of the dolutegravir should be high, to 50 milligram twice a day should be given when the patient is taking antitubercular drug, rifampicin based antitubercular drug. And another beautiful thing is that it has a high genetic barrier, what we will discuss later, and it is also effective against HIV too, and harmonization across the patient's population is also possible when the dolutegravir combination therapy we use. Now dolutegravir delivered the rapid and sustained efficacy. The single study, when again it was done in 833 patients, all of them were ART naive, and in one group dolutegravir, abacavir and lanifudine was initiated, and in other group tenofovir and emtricitabine and efavirenz were initiated. It was, and the primary end of primary goal was to see the suppression of viral load to below less than 50 copies per milliliter at the end of 48 weeks. And it is seen that 88% cases viral load become undetectable at 48 weeks compared to 81% which is lesser, which is in the lower value compared to dolutegravir based regimen. And 80% the viral load remain undetectable at the 96 week in dolutegravir based therapy compared to 72% in TLE, that is tenofovir, the emtricitabine and efavirenz based regimen. And viral load suppression is also very much earlier, around 4 weeks average duration to suppress the viral load compared to efavirenz based regimen, which is around 12 weeks. This is the graphical presentation. It shows that you can see that 88% viral load suppression, less than 50 copies RNA per milliliter in at 48 weeks, which is higher when we compare dolutegravir, abacavir and lamivudine with the efavirenz, emtricitabine and tenofovir based regimen. And 96 weeks also the viral load is suppressed higher, 80% compared to TDF, FTC and efavirenz based regimen. And dolutegravir has very few side effects, and so it is very well tolerated among the patients. And I have already mentioned that 2% patient only discontinued the dolutegravir based regimen due to adverse events compared to 10% in efavirenz based regimen, and this in around 48 weeks of therapy, and in 96 of therapy only 3% discontinued the regimen, dolutegravir based regimen, versus 11% in tenofovir and FTC and efavirenz based regimen. So this is the slide shows the different trial results. So before coming into the program, experts committee studied the different trial results, and CDC, WHO recommended the dolutegravir in their first line option, and NACO has adopted this in 2020. Single study, 3 study here was done among the ART-NAP patient. So one is single study, which I have already discussed. 833 patients were enrolled, and they were not exposed to INSTI, and they were all in ART-NAP, and primary outcome was to see the less than 50 copies of viral RNA at 48 weeks or hours 96 week of therapy. Another study was among the ART-NAP patient, the spring study, and the total subject was 822. Again, they were not INSTI exposed patient, and it was again the result end of study was 48 week and 96 weeks, and the outcome of proportion of patient which achieved the viral load suppression with dolutegravir based regimen. Another study was Flamingo trial. It is very famous, and again the subjects are 484 subjects, and no emergent INSTI or NRTI mutations, same 48 weeks of dolutegravir based therapy. Another study was done in INSTI experienced patient who were previously on raltegravir based therapy, but there it shows that fewer resistance mutation achieved with dolutegravir compared to raltegravir, 1% versus 5% at 48 weeks of therapy. So finding the result of these 4 large studies, and the NACO recommended, adopted the dolutegravir as the first line option, and also focused on introduction of dolutegravir in other alternative or in the other practice regimen. And this slide shows that the dolutegravir, bictegravir and darunavir, you can see that higher barrier of resistance, genetic barrier of resistance compared to other NRTI like zidovudine, stavudine, and nucleotide analog, that is tenofovir, alafenamide, The adenosine is not used, but abacavir is used. And FTC32C also show the very low barrier of resistance. Efavirenz also show very low barrier of resistance. But raltegravir, which is also has a very low genetic barrier of resistance compared to dolutegravir and bictegravir also. Now, in case of pregnancy, and the largest study done in Botswana takes place, and at 8 of the largest maternity ward of Botswana, with the 45% of the total birth in the country, which accounted for, and showed that identified the 4 neural tube defect, which is around 0.9% among 426 women who took the dolutegravir at the time of their conception. And this was done in 2018. In 2019, the prevalence has declined from 0.9% to 0.3%. And it was done on the huge number of the pregnant women. 5 of 1683 patients showed neural tube defect. And efavirenz based therapy at the time of conception showed that the risk of neural tube defect was only 0.05%. And now, with other ARV it is only 0.12%. So, however, it is very safe to initiate dolutegravir based regimen in pregnant women beyond first trimester of pregnancy. Now, the risk versus benefit of dolutegravir use in women of childbearing potential. Now, benefits. What are the benefits? Benefits: the dolutegravir causes higher maternal viral suppression, fewer maternal death, and fewer sexual transmission of HIV, and also fewer mother-to-child transmission. But what are the risks now? And dolutegravir in women childbearing age group or potential include adult morbidity resulting from dolutegravir associated weight gain. It is very important. And neonatal death among infants or pregnant women with dolutegravir associated weight gain. But the risk-benefit model suggests that the benefit of dolutegravir in women childbearing potential newly initiating ART likely to outweigh the risk associated with it. But the blanket exclusion that deny the woman equitable access of this optimal HIV treatment with dolutegravir are not warranted or justified till date. So, effective contraception should be offered to adult women or adolescent girl of childbearing age group or potential. And number 2 is dolutegravir can be prescribed for adult women or adolescent girl of childbearing age or the potential who wish to become pregnant or who are not otherwise using or accessing consistent and effective contraception if they have been fully informed for the potential increase the risk of neural tube defect. And number 3 is in case of woman who does not want to initiate TLD after adequate counseling, then she should be opted for TLE. And if the woman identified to be pregnant after first trimester, DTG can be initiated and continued for the further duration of the pregnancy. So it is very clear that the women who are willing to initiate the dolutegravir and in the reproductive age group, we can initiate a dolutegravir based regimen. And if the woman won't want to use any contraceptive measure or won't want to initiate dolutegravir based regimen, he can be initiated with, she can initiate a TLE. And first trimester of pregnancy, dolutegravir should not be recommended, but beyond that, dolutegravir can be prescribed to avoid the neural tube defect. Now, what are the adverse events and the drug-drug interactions of dolutegravir? Dolutegravir have very few side effects, but the insomnia is higher compared to the efavirenz based regimen. Few patients may complain insomnia, The headache and dizziness, tiredness, allergic reactions, though they are very mild, it can happen. And dolutegravir associated weight gain, there may be redistribution of fat and reaccumulation of the fat in patients who are taking dolutegravir. And so WHO recommended the importance of healthy diet and regular exercise to maintain the body weight of those patients. And now the important drug-drug interactions with the dolutegravir based regimen. Dolutegravir uses the UGT1A1 pathway, metabolic pathway, which is very different from cytochrome P450, which is inducer pathway or inhibitor pathway. So very few side effects and drug-drug interactions are there. Few one like amodiaquine, it should not be used with dolutegravir. The another antimalarial should be used as an alternative agent. Carbamazepine also we should go for the alternative anticonvulsant drug, and phenytoin, phenobarbital we also consider alternative anticonvulsant agents here when we want to use any anticonvulsant for dolutegravir based regimen. And dofetilide, this is one of the new antiarrhythmic agent, decreases the dolutegravir blood level, so other alternative antiarrhythmic agent should be used. Metformin, the blood level of the metformin is affected by dolutegravir, and it increases the blood level of the metformin, which is very commonly used among the diabetic patient, and many of the HIV patients taking metformin, either the side effect of PI they develop diabetes or genetic nature among the diabetic patient. So dose of the metformin should be monitored. It should not increase beyond 1000 milligram per day. And polyvalent cation producing either antacids or multivitamin supplements. It should use either 2 hours before or 6 hours after in dolutegravir intake. And rifampicin is an enzyme inducer. It decreases the blood level of the dolutegravir. So dolutegravir when used along with the rifampicin based regimen, the dose should be doubled. That is 50 milligram twice a day should be given. Now it is very important to tell that dolutegravir based regimen to be implemented after release of office memorandum from NACO. Now we are discussing how the dolutegravir is proposed to be used under our national program. This is the transition phase 1. Now, dolutegravir based regimen for the treatment of HIV positive adult, adolescent and children. When the children is considered, the weight should be more than 20 kg and age should be more than 6 years. Below 6 years, dolutegravir cannot be used, and less than 20 years is also contraindication for the use of dolutegravir based regimen. And dolutegravir based regimen will be preferred regimen in the national program for new PLHIV as well as all already on heart. And selection of appropriate DTG based regimen would depend on the viral load suppression status of the PLHIV and the current ARV drugs being used. Later we will discuss. PLHIV on various ART regimen will be gradually shifted to dolutegravir based regimen in a phased manner. And the transition plan would be based on the drug stocks available. It is very important and the most important thing for the implementation of the dolutegravir in our national program. And NACO would be issuing office orders from time to time for transition to dolutegravir based regimen, and we should follow the OM, that is the office memorandum from NACO time to time for the implementation of the dolutegravir in our national program in phased manner. Now the upcoming guidelines we will discuss in adult and adolescent and ART NEP patient, that is the first line ART in adult and adolescent. So dolutegravir can be used as a first line option in more than 10 years of age group and more than 30 years of age group, then the regimen should be tenofovir, lamivudine and dolutegravir 50 milligram OD, that is the fixed drugs combination pill. Tenofovir cannot be used in less than 30 kg. So the adult, adolescent or an ART-naive patient more than 20 kg, more than 30 kg and more than 10 years of age, the first line regimen should be TLD. And the one tab once daily, preferably at bedtime, but any fixed time every day as per patient's convenience, he can take the pill. And both it can be used in HIV-1 for HIV-2 and also combined infection of HIV-1 and 2. And even women who were exposed to single dose nevirapine in the past and pure HIV co-infected with the TB or hepatitis B and C. And women with childbearing age group or potential should be provided informed choice, which I have already discussed about the benefit and the risk of DTG based regimen. And this guideline will be implemented after the release of the office memorandum by NACO. Now, the ART regimen in ART-naive adult and adolescent as an alternative first line. PLHIV, body weight less than 30 kg. So, the tenofovir we cannot use. So, the alternative first line drug is abacavir, fixed dose abacavir lamivudine combination 600-300 milligram. Along with the third one is dolutegravir 50 milligram once daily. And number 2 option, the all patient with high liver enzymes, upper normal limit of the creatinine, serum creatinine value, that is the high creatinine value. Then also we cannot use tenofovir based regimen. Then also we prefer abacavir, lamivudine and dolutegravir based regimen as an first line alternative regimen. In special situation, the patient taking antituberculous drug, rifampicin containing antitubercular drug. I have already mentioned that rifampicin drug-drug interaction, it decreases the dolutegravir blood level. So dolutegravir dose should be doubled, 50 milligram morning and the 50 milligram in the evening. 50 milligram evening pill should be taken as a single pill of dolutegravir, and at the morning time fixed dose combination pill with the TDF, lamivudine and dolutegravir, that is the TL, should be taken as a first line option. And female in the reproductive age group who opt out of TLD, then the TLD should be the first line drug. And efavirenz, if contraindicated, then or patient is HIV-2 or both HIV-1 or 2 positive or prior NNRTI exposed, then TL LPVR should be the preferable drug of choice. Now upcoming second line regimen, it is very important slide. I will go very slowly. If the patient is on first line therapy with zidovudine containing regimen and NRTI component is ZL, that is zidovudine and lamivudine preferably, and failed on either NNRTI or PI based regimen, the second line option for him or her should be the NRTI component should be TL in place of ZL, and the third one component should be INSTI, that is dolutegravir. Remark here that use abacavir if TDF is contraindicated, that is if the patient has kidney disease, serum creatinine is very high, or then the option should be abacavir in place of tenofovir as NRTI option as second line. And the next one, if the patient was on first line ART with TL or abacavir AL and failed on NNRTI or PI based regimen, then the second line option NRTI should be ZL in place of TL or AL, and the dolutegravir is the third drug to be included in the second line option. If the hemoglobin is more than 9 gram %, then the ZL option is there. But if the hemoglobin is less than 9 gram %, then NRTI cannot be used. In place of NRTI, then LPVR, that is the lopinavir ritonavir PI, should be the drug of choice along with the dolutegravir. And if the first line option is TLD, the first line drug along with the NRTI, 2 NRTI is dolutegravir, then his second line should become the PI based regimen, that is ZL ATVR. If the hemoglobin is less than 9 gram %, then LPVR. Dolutegravir BD dose should be used, which was used in the OD dose in the first line, then the dolutegravir should be used in the BD dose in the second line along with the LPVR. So no NRTI can be used here as a second line option. If the first line with ZLD, and similarly the first line ZLD 50 mg OD dolutegravir which has failed by the patient, then TL ATVR should be the drug of choice. Multi NRTI exposed patient, then directly NNRTI first line option as the third drug, then no NRTI drug is kept as the second line option, then the patient will initiate on dolutegravir and lopinavir ritonavir as the second line drug. And multi NRTI exposed PI based regimen as the first line, then darunavir ritonavir along with the dolutegravir should be the drug of choice in the second line regimen. And if PLHIV co-infected with the TB receive BD dose of the dolutegravir until patient completes CTD, then it can switch to the OD drug, because the dolutegravir dose is double due to the use of the rifampicin. After the effect of rifampicin goes on, it can switch to again OD dose. Any PLHIV co-infected with the hepatitis B, so 2 active drugs against hepatitis B should always be kept in the regimen. It is preferably TL. So TL option should be there if the patient is suffering from the hepatitis B infection. Now in the third line dolutegravir based regimen, third line regimen should include the newer drug with the minimal side effect and the cross resistance to previously used ARVs. Third line ARV will be formed by INSTI and the new boosted PI. Third line ART should be started at the ART center after receiving advice from SACEP of the respective select linked ART plus or center of excellence. SACS in consultation and approval of the NACO may authorize the MO or SMO of the other ART plus center based on their functioning capacity. Dose of the regimen as the third line ART dolutegravir 50 mg twice a day if the previous use of integrastans INSTI is there, otherwise OD dose can be used along with the darunavir ritonavir 600 mg 100 mg ritonavir twice a day along with the dolutegravir based regimen. And if the patient is co-infected with hepatitis B, TL should be there in all regimen. Because if we cannot manage hepatitis B along with the HIV infection, dolutegravir may reactivate the hepatitis B, untreated hepatitis B, and patient may develop failure or high viral load and consequences of liver disease if it is not treated simultaneously along with the HIV, anti-HIV retroviral drugs. So in case of children now, in case of children, WHO recommended dolutegravir as the preferred first line option more than 6 years of age in children. Because of limitation of widespread availability of the pediatric formulation of India, the Pediatric ART Technical Research Group recommend the following regimen based on their age and weight of the children. The weight and age below 6 years. They were on abacavir, lamivudine and the lopinavir ritonavir. And the age is between 6 to 10 years and the weight is in between 20 to 30 kg. 6 to 10 years, tenofovir cannot be used. So then also, but dolutegravir we can use. So the preferred regimen is abacavir, lamivudine along with dolutegravir. And age is 30 years and above. the tenofovir can be used. Then the preferred first line option is tenofovir, lamivudine and dolutegravir. This regimen we will practice after the office memorandum issued by NACO. So it is the schematic presentation. Patient when the child when infected with HIV, then along with the other baseline laboratory testing and CD4 laboratory test, if the patient is less than 6 years of age and body weight is less than 20 kg, AL-LPVR should be the first drug antiretroviral. If the age is 6 to 10 years and body weight in between 20 to 30 kg, AL-dolutegravir can be used, and more than 10 years, age more than 30 kg, then TLBT will be the first option. Then TB HIV co-infected patient, children were infected with the TB HIV. Dolutegravir based ART should be used on rifampicin based regimen, then the rifampicin dose, dolutegravir dose should be doubled. And first line pediatric regimen with the TB HIV co-infection would become, if I have already discussed that the first line option is abacavir, lamivudine, lopinavir, ritonavir. Here the super boosting of PI based regimen should be done with ritonavir to maintain the blood level of the lopinavir, ritonavir. And weight between 20 to 30 kg and age between 6 to 10 years of age, dolutegravir can be used, but additional dose is needed at the evening time after 12 hours gap. And if the body weight is more than 30 kg and age is more than 10 years of age, then TLD can be used along with the additional dolutegravir dose after 12 hours. If the patient is taking antitubercular drug, rifampicin based antitubercular drug. So now, whether dolutegravir can be used as an post-exposure prophylaxis. Obviously, it is the preferred option, but we will start to use after the NACO office memorandum. One trap fixed dose pill should be taken immediately or preferably within first 2 hours of exposure, and from next day one tablet should be taken for another 28 days. And PrEP for children, 3 drug regimen is given according to the weight brand. The ZL is recommended as the preferred backbone for HIV PrEP in children, and the AL is the hemoglobin is less than 9 gram%, then the AL should be the first option. TL can be given when more than 30 kg of age and age more than 10 years of age. The third option is LPVR in less than 6 years of age and weight less than 20 kg, and dolutegravir more than 6 years of age and more than 20 kg of weight. So, am I clear that the post-exposure prophylaxis for children? Now, we will discuss the phase 1 transition, which has started since 4th April 2020. Now, to whom we will initiate dolutegravir in the phase 1 transition? Dolutegravir will be initiated in the first phase in the following categories of patient. Number 1, all patients currently on raltegravir based regimen. They all will be shifted quickly to dolutegravir based regimen, and patients who need the switch or early initiation of third line regimen or alternate second line regimen with the INSTI, then the dolutegravir should be the first option. In these two group of patients, in the phase 1, we will start dolutegravir based regimen quickly, because in our center dolutegravir is now available. Now, if the current regimen is raltegravir, lopinavir, ritonavir as an alternative option, if the virological suppression is there less than 1000 copies per milliliter, or if target not detected, that is suppressed viral load, then raltegravir should be substituted or substituted with dolutegravir 50 mg once daily, and lopinavir should be there. If unsuppressed viral load, that is more than 1000 copies per milliliter, then PI regimen is also changed to be darunavir, ritonavir, and as a resistant strain, dose of the dolutegravir should be twice daily. And if the patient is on raltegravir and darunavir, already, if the viral load is suppressed, then the darunavir is still in the regimen along with the dolutegravir 50 milligram twice, once daily if the viral load is suppressed, and if the failure is there, then the dolutegravir dose should be increased or doubled along with the darunavir. Now, if the multiple NRTI exposed patient with the virological failure and who needs second line initiation, several referral from different ART centers we receive every day, every week, when the patient exposed to multiple NRTI for some duration, mesilteriflutin, tafefutin and tenofovir lamivudine, sometimes E40 exposed patient, again tenofovir, TLN, TLE. So what we should do as a second line option in those patients? Those patients should be preferably on dolutegravir as the INSTI, first INSTI once daily dose along with the PI LPVR. And the second line failure patient, that is who are on 2 NRTI and PI and who needs third line the ART, then the dolutegravir dose should be once daily along with the higher PI, that is darunavir. And if the viral, now in the COVID pandemic, we are in the COVID pandemic, all of us know that viral load testing is, we cannot do the viral load testing now due to the pandemic situation. So preferably decision should be taken on the available last viral load test result. Now the monitoring of those patients, monitoring every visit, body weight, treatment adherence, and monitoring for opportunistic infection, forest screening, T-staging, all should be done at every visit. And the laboratory evaluation based on an ART combination used every 6 months, what we do in our routine practice, CD4 count and viral load testing should be done every 6 months. And now the very important points about the dolutegravir transition, that the available stock of the raltegravir should be utilized first. It should be kept in mind that the raltegravir stock in the different SACs, different center of excellence and should be exhausted first before initiation of the dolutegravir based regimen. And dolutegravir based twice daily regimen in the TB patients who are taking rifampicin based antitubercular drug, and once daily regimen in children. In case of children, those on raltegravir based regimen, if weight is more than 20 kg and more than 6 years of age, those patients who were on raltegravir previously, they should be shifted to dolutegravir based regimen if the viral load is suppressed. And if the viral load is not suppressed, both the INSTI should dose, that is the dolutegravir dose, should be doubled along with the change of PI based regimen. Now the viral load testing for dolutegravir initiation. Viral load testing for dolutegravir initiation, and the people living with HIV already on ART, viral load test should be done before transition to a new regimen. And the patient should have completed at least 6 months of ART. We know that anybody who need a viral load testing at least should be on ART for 6 months. And adherence counseling should be done, at least 95% adherence should be there. If adequate adherence level is not there, then step up counseling should be done, and if the adherence counseling achieved to 95% or more, then only the viral load testing should be done, otherwise it should be deferred. And if the all transition should be done after single suppressed viral load test, that is less than 1000 copies per milliliter. And virologic, in the special situation, virologically unsuppressed, that is the failure patient. If the patient is failing, is in the failing regimen, that is viral load even after adequate step up counseling, the viral load test report showing that the more than 1000 copies per milliliter. If there is failure in the current existing regimen, then the patient shall undergo enhanced counseling, step-up counseling for next 3 months while continuing the same regimen. It is very important. It is very important. Every ART center, every counselor must follow this. So step-up counseling before sending the patient for viral load testing and adherence, to check the adherence, to check the new appearance of any opportunistic infection. It is very important to count the pill. Then only if the more than 95% or equal to 95% adherence is there, then only repeat viral load testing should be done. And if again then the viral load failure is there, that is more than 1000 copies per milliliter, then the patient can be switched to other higher treatment option. The current scenario, again I am telling you that now we are in the COVID-19 pandemic, so viral load testing we cannot do. So all these change of regimen should be done based on the latest available viral load report in the last 6 months. But we will follow this after the pandemic is over, will over, and we will practice this guideline thoroughly. Now the few notes for the counselors of ART center. Now all PL-HIV transition to dolutegravir based regimen to be counseled properly, because it is very important and is a very highly effective drug with high genetic barrier of resistance, very potent, few side effects, tolerance is very good, drug-drug interaction very less, single daily dose, achieve therapeutic level, and informed and so patient counseling portion is very important before transitioning to a newer regimen. And second one, the dolutegravir can be prescribed for the adult woman and adolescent girl of childbearing age or potential wish to become pregnant. And this portion is very important, and one not otherwise using or accessing consistent and effective contraception. If they have been fully informed of the potential increase in the risk of neural tube defect, it should be explained to every woman who want to be pregnant. But if the dolutegravir, we should be better to avoid dolutegravir based combination therapy in the first trimester of pregnancy, but after the formation of the spinal cord and the vertebra, the neural tube defect cannot be there. So dolutegravir can be started, we can start dolutegravir from second trimester onward. So it should be explained to the woman very carefully and very thoroughly. And counselor, so if a woman is identified to be pregnant after the first trimester, dolutegravir should be initiated or continued for the duration of pregnancy, because it causes less fetal transmission, less sexual transmission of HIV, but the fetal birth, the child birth and the weight gain should always be kept in mind. Then counselor should explain the benefit of dolutegravir and fewer mother for the women of the child bearing age group that are likely to outweigh the risk, that is the neural tube defect associated with it. But it is also very few, very less, only 0.3%. It should be explained thoroughly by the counselor and MOs. So capacity building, training of the staff is needed. The training of ART, SMO, MO would be done through platforms like NDLS, RDLS, telemedicine, Zoom, ECO, etc. in the current scenario of lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic, and respective online and classroom sessions of blended clinical training curriculum are being modified. One-day training of all other concerned ART staff like care coordinators, counselor, pharmacists, data manager would be conducted. Online material will be uploaded on NACO website for referral. So these are our future plan. After the COVID-19 pandemic, we'll start to do in all ART centers. And now information regarding dissemination and the data reporting, printed IEC material is under development for the ART staff, and the job aid ready for MO on ARV regimen transition and drug interactions, flip charts, checklist for counselor, etc. will be provided. And patient information sheet for educating PLHIV on dolutegravir based regimen are under development, and revised recording and reporting format will be started with all SACS COE-ART centers soon. Now you can ask question. If you have not any questions, so I can end the session now. Thank you everybody.